me turn the... My bad. That is an amazing way to start the stream. Just coughing. Alright, hold on 1 second. Hello, hello. I need like a good transition screen. But here we go. Alright, hold on 1 second. Where are these at? Do I have... Hold on. They just automatically... Hold on. 1 moment. Ugh. Trying to get all this stuff set up real quick. Oh. Okay, no. That's good. Here, I'm gonna transition real quick to audio off real quick. So I can grab something. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. There were some technical difficulties. My headphones went out. I've been using them too much. Alright, hello everybody. Hello, welcome. We did a little short stream this morning. Hello, TNT Horror Gamer. How are you doing? Yes, I do look a little tired. It's been a full weekend, honestly. I've had kind of a little bit of a more restful day today. It's... Excuse me. It's been this morning, whenever I did my stream, I was doing some Hollow Knight. I realized that, like, I've been streaming a lot this weekend, so I decided to take a little bit of time and just, like, kind of relax for a little bit. So I've done that, so I feel a little bit more rested. I actually wasn't planning on streaming, but then I realized there's actually some stuff that came out. And actually, I'm going to try and find it real quick so we can talk about it. But there was apparently some previews for the upcoming the Ultimate Guide that came out recently. I'm actually not sure where I can find those, because I just heard. Let's see. That's from a while ago. Nope. Let's see. I imagine somebody's talking about it. And I was gonna try to find this before I started the stream, but I got too excited and I just kind of jumped into it. No, but apparently there was some screenshots, not screenshots. These are actual official teasers for the upcoming Ultimate Guide. They had some interesting things, I thought. Hold on. Oh, that's me. Hold on. Let me see if I can find... well, actually, would it be on Amazon? Maybe that's where they are. Yeah, here they are. Okay. That's good. Alright, so... we've got some stuff to look at. There were some screenshots. I'm pretty sure that most of this is, like, old information, but it'd be nice to kind of compare them to see if there's any, like, changes they're doing format-wise or anything like that. To see how big of an update this really is. Because I know that from, like, update to update, they kind of do change a little bit of the focus. Like, I feel like with the other ones that they did, um, the like theory content for like what the fans' theories were like completely different between editions. So and it based on like what we had kind of already figured out, and it was like treading new ground or treading ground that had already been treaded. I think is the idea. So hold on, let me. I don't know if we want music or no music for this or different music. I do like that song. Um, but I don't really have like a specific format other than we have our theory board as always up on there. I've been trying to. I haven't worked on it too much today, but I've wanted to. So hopefully we can get some of the work on that complete. Also, just a note, I know that it was said that it was canceled. The under what's it called? This. It doesn't have a cover. But the Five Nights at Freddy's Secret Artifacts. This was said to be canceled, but it's still selling on Amazon, which is kind of confusing. TNT Horror Gamer has a question. Let's see. Even though the same characters from Poppy Playtime look similar to FNAF. For example, Poppy, Ella, Bonzu the rabbits, and the bunny call. That's really common in all of mascot horror. They kind of are a little bit redundant whenever it comes to like character designs. Like, you know, Springtrap has had cultural impact whenever like the scariest mascot anyone can think of is a rabbit. Like, I mean, there's also like actual symbolic meaning of like rabbits and stuff that I think ties well into like the themes you might have with like a mascot horror game. So ultimately, Scott just picked some good characters and stuff, and I think that ultimately its popularity kind of resulted in a lot of other similarities. Yeah, they could be references. I think that it's kind of an issue of redundancy, um, not necessarily creativity. I don't want to say that like, oh, I think they're uncreative, because I don't think that's true. I don't think that's fair. But I think that it can kind of get a little bit repetitive. I can't tell you how many like specifically smaller indie games that maybe not have like maybe not popped off yet, that use like rabbits or animatronic like things in their games, and I personally have no issue with it, because I've thought about making games that look like, if I would make a game, it would have a lot of very heavy FNAF references in it as well. So I am not even above that. But yes. So hold on. Let me go ahead and pop up something else real quick. Not that. This is going to my books. I wanted to kind of compare and see if like I was saying before, if there's any like layout changes. Because I think that's interesting, specifically with like the Ultimate Guide. So, because this is like Ultimate Guide 2.0. It's new content, Stanley. Give me the content. Give me all the content, yes. Okay. So I had this pulled up, and I know what page this is because I've seen it. Going on a bear hunt. Interesting. That is different, I think. But let me look. FNAF 1, codes and glitches. Dark. Because I think this is like contrasting, like, here's some old stuff. There might be like some of the like, here's a book reference. I also see something with a lot of sticky notes. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the way this page looks. That's a complicated looking drawing, man. That is different. Is the layout different? Wait, hold on. This is FNAF 1, right? For the office. Maybe this is, maybe I'm wrong, actually. Hold on, guys. Yeah, so gameplay strategy for that's animatronics. Let me see. Oh, yeah, here it is. So interesting. Secret animatronics. That page is not there. That's interesting. So that might indicate that there's some like things being moved around. Unless that. Wait a second. Actually, that's FNAF 2. Never mind. That is the wrong thing. Let me see. Boo. What's boo? Are you saying because we're not playing Hollow Knight? You are not scary. Oh. Or are you saying boo, Nightland, because you're not #1 chatter? You gotta chat some more to get up there. I was looking at. Okay, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at comparing those two. But let me find it. Okay, no. This is exactly the same. Like, I think this is just straight one for one. I don't really see any like major changes between this and this page. So I think they are like they said they're adding 100 pages and they're going to be focusing on a lot of the new stuff. I think besides like the theory sections that there won't be like too many changes unless it applies to like because Secret of the Mimic is going to be here. It's going to be huge because it's going to be able to go back to like FNAF 1 and be like, hey, these are Fiona's drawings, you know, these are Fiona's designs. And it's going to be able to reference that. I said boo, like boo. Oh, you know, that's me, jokes going right over my head. Yeah, but TNT Horror Gamer, I didn't get it, and that's the bigger problem is that I don't get the jokes. They go over my head, and then I don't know. Okay, so moving on to this interesting. This is different for sure. For each animatronic, here check. This is like AI level for each animatronic. Green, red, weird. What strange color coding you're using there. Advancements also affected. So you're getting a more clearer breakdown for game mechanics. That's fun. I'm curious. I don't remember them referring to that as AI. I guess, no, it would be their AI. That's really strange. And this is just something that I don't remember. Hold on. Were there other pages? Because these are not the pages that I saw being referenced. That's interesting. Are there more? Hold on. Because I thought there were. Oh, here they are. Okay, there are more. There is a interesting that. That's weird. Why did you put this down here, Scott? Okay, let's save image. Let's save this and look at this a little bit more closely. Cool Cassia trivia, where I think straight up tells you how old she was. Her nails do not shrug. Okay. Hold on. Which is huge, Cassie lore drop. I don't know if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it. It's just this page, which is the one that I really wanted to look at. Also, I'm so sorry, Nightland. We have to talk about Escape the Pizzaplex. I'm so sorry. Ah. That's hilarious. It thought that I was you were the logical fallacy was playing with his cousin named Sean. Oh, that's funny. That's actually really funny. Okay, let me see if we can look at this in a closer way. Look at the glorious text. I think that's a little too far away. Okay. So this is for Return to the Pit. Remember when you first got to 1985 Freddy's, you were so excited to make friends with Chip and Mike. You probably didn't even notice the arcade cabinet 8-bit escape. But it's there. If you manage to collect a full Faz coin during a walkthrough of the book, you can come back and play the arcade game next time. Who knows, you might just save 5 lives, kill one giant bunny, and enjoy a fantastic summer with your dad. Which is what happens, and it's so confusing. Oh man, this book has so many weird lore drops that I'm like, I don't know. But also, guys, it mentions Eleanor in this. In the Fazbear Fights epilogues, an animatronic known as Eleanor wreaks havoc. One of her signature looks is tapping her, or moves is tapping. Sorry, I can't read. Trapping her victims in the ball pit. Sound familiar? To further cement the connection, one of the paths in the books takes Oswald to an alley where he sees a toy doll with red pigtails, a white face, and a red dress just like Eleanor. Eleanor also makes an appearance in the Into the Pit video game, which this book is also addressing, which is, I'm so excited, man. Oswald's ball pit adventure is unique because it has 3 different FNAF iterations: Into the Pit, the original Fazbear Fight story, and its graphic novel adaptation. FNAF Into the Pit video game, and Return to the Pit, the interactive. It must be a... Oh, Scott, why have you done this? It must be a really important story. I hate you. My gosh. Yeah, you wouldn't say. Look at that, guys. If you want to wonder if the books are important still, this is just a direct answer of, hey, look at how many times I've adapted this story. It must be really important. I can tell you why, guys. It's because the ball pit is comparable to some other mechanics. Keeps updating the Freddy Files book. Yes, this is supposed to be like a big update, similar to the Ultimate Guide update that happened last, which added a lot more. I mean, they all kind of add, but this is really big because this is including, I think, some of the, like, is it like 4 times now? Well, this is 2.0, but yes, it's the original Freddy Files, the updated Freddy Files, which covered FNAF 6, and then the Ultimate Guide, and then the Ultimate Guide 2.0. So technically this is 2.0, because there's been, the original was the Freddy Files. So there's been 2 Freddy Files, 2 Ultimate Guides, but they're the same book. It's the same book, but with added pages and some, like, tie-ins. But let me look. Escape the Pizzaplex. What starts as a fun game between friends turns into a 5-night fear fest. Gregory invites Cassie to play hide and seek with him, and Freddy after hours in the Pizzaplex, and Cassie agrees. But the animatronics don't always play nice, and Cassie grows scared. She can never tell if she really has something to fear, or if it's just Gregory playing one of his pranks. But then a new danger surfaces. A reagent, this bug-eyed lot with a backpack full of toxic chemicals, is without the doubt the biggest danger Cassie will face tonight. Except that it isn't, and this book is confusing. Cassie is a friend of Gregory, the main character in Security Breach, and the daughter of a Fazbear technician, which this will continue to hold over our head as an important lore bit forever. So she is pretty familiar with the Pizzaplex. She even celebrates her What does that say, Scott? What does that say? Is that that's not a is that 11th? That is specifically not readable. Is that 8th? It looks 11th birthday there, though none of her friends showed up until Roxanne Wolf arrived, with Gregory saving the day. Ever since then, Cassie has idolized Roxy. A cool Cassie trivia. A big fan of Roxy. Cassie likes to wear clothes that match Roxy's colors, purple and green. She even paints her nails to match Roxy's claws. Interesting that Cassie's colors that, matches Roxy's colors, which are purple and green, which, if you've paid attention to the theory board, you'll know are important colors. Her favorite color is carrot cake. So, interesting little tidbit, right? So, something that we were discovering during Ruin, and like later in Secret of the Mimic, is that the colors purple and green, and this is something that's also mentioned in Tales of the Pizzaplex with the epilogues, is like and I talked about this in a previous stream, all the characters talk about their favorite colors, and 3 of them are purple, green, and yellow, which are the 3 colors you'll find all over the place in Ruin. But the thing that's interesting about that, we actually know what they represent, because purple is described as being like a deep wound, like a deep bruise. And green is meant to like signify life. So it's like you have this something that's focusing on like pain or like destructive, but also then you have green, which is life. So Cassie is both representative of life and destruction. So she is balanced, kind of like what we see with Eclipsed. But she also likes carrot cake, which aligns with the rabbit, which is rebirth. So it's like you have Cassie as a character, which also by the very nature of that also kind of connects with Roxy as a character, which we kind of we see in the kind of the aspect in the same way that we do with all the characters between like Ruin and Security Breach, because that's kind of the point. Is kind of like they get split on based on their like destructive or their semi like neutral states. Like Chica's kind of neutral, Monty is just aggressive, and then Freddy is mindless because he doesn't have a head, but also is aggressive for some reason. It's interesting. It's really interesting. So the fact that it points that out, that it's like, hey, Cassie is associated with green and purple and likes carrot cake. That's sorry. That's really interesting. I just wish that we could look at this and see a little bit closer what it says that her age is. Because that seems like purposely blurred for some reason. And that the reason that's important is that could give us like a good timeline for like Gregory and Cassie's meeting, because we can assume that like they'd be around the same age somewhat. I realized something weird a while back. They say William stuffed the children's bodies in the animatronics, but why are there no remains visually then? Oh, I have a bit of a controversial take on that. I have a take that you guys are not gonna like. You know what? I think we do see them. Because I'm not, guys, I didn't say I was good at jokes, because I'm not. I have a really controversial answer to that though, for real. I think that, the DCI, like that whole incident where it's like, why is that never mentioned again? Why is there just like this set of kids that it's the same situation, and yet the reason that it closes is because the animatronics glitch, and not like, if you think about that from like a logical moment, and think about like same franchise, same situation. And the thing the newspapers focus on is something completely unrelated. And it's not like it would be the same situation of like, it doesn't matter that they were never found or were found. If they were found, it would have mattered more. I think what the DCI is William Afton disposing of the bodies. That is my theory. That is why the DCI is never mentioned, because there was no DCI. The DCI kids are the MCI, but being taken out of the animatronics, which is why we never see them in the Withered. Because if they were still there, think about it, it's 1987. It's only been freaking 2 years, like less than 2 years since the closure, because you have to think it was towards the end in the same way. So it would have been like exactly almost around 2.5 years since that incident, which is not a whole lot of time, right? So it's like you would have had to, because guess what? There was an investigation going on. So it's like you have the reason of why that would. And if you let me bring out a picture of this. Actually, I think I can probably use this if I can. Let's see. FNAF, save them. Minigame. I just want to point this out, and I am not, this isn't like I'm gonna die on this hill or anything. This is just my personal take, okay? If we look at the map, right, and I don't know, yeah, you can see them. If you look at the minigame, the sprites match the way that the animatronics are standing, are slouched. You see that? How they're slouched over in the same way that they are. And if you look at the toys are on the stage, right? Mangle is patrolling. Like, they're not even near them, right? So it's like, to me, whenever I look at this, plus the idea of the puppet coming to save them, right? That's the whole point, is that this is the puppet going out to save them. Yep. Yeah, no, that is Shadow Bonnie. That is Shadow Bonnie from the graphic novel. Which I will say, no matter what you think about that story, the graphic novel has probably the coolest. I'll show this, because I think this is like an awesome concept for the way that Shadow Bonnie looks in this. It also gives rise to some of my theories that I think are rather interesting. I think it's this one. Let's see, yeah, here it is. This has some like genuinely terrifying art that I really appreciate. Let's see. It's from this graphic novel. And I love this freaking interpretation of Shadow Bonnie in this story, because like, especially if you look at how it appears, look at this thing. Look at that. That's such a like, it's such a simple but like really cool looking, this like really imposing, but you know what it also kind of reminds me of? Okay, you know what this reminds me of though? Let's see. Okay, this is I'm gonna freak some of you out here with this. Okay, you know what this kind of reminds me of though? Hold on, is there a clear image of it? I was trying to. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. It reminds me a lot. Okay, it's not showing up for some reason. That's fine. Okay. It reminds me a lot of this thing right here. Just saying. It kind of. That's a really bad picture, but it kind of reminds me a lot of this thing. And note, I said that really loud, but also You want to know something interesting. You want to know something interesting. And it brings to me a little theory, guys. I have a little a little conspiracy, if you will, that maybe won't be super popular, but I'm gonna say it. I think this current story was actually planned all along. You know why? Because the original color for the mobile port of Princess Quest in the in Help Wanted, that original sprites for Glitch Trap was not purple. When you enter the room for the mobile port, and I can look up a video, I can bring up a video of this, they're green. They're stuck and they don't move and they're green. They aren't purple until I believe, I want to say they either aren't purple at all or they turn purple once you activate the switches. The reason I think that's important is because I believe that purple and green aren't just representative of life and destruction. I think purple and green are representative of entity control. So they're representative of what entity is controlling what at a certain point, which means that there are two entities represented by green and purple that are fighting for control. And who do we know in this current point with Secret of the Mimic that might just be associated with green and purple? Like two entities that might be able to like have reasons to beef and be fighting for control. That would be M1 and M2. It's something to think about because yes, William's colors are heavily associated with purple, but the reason for that is because it's supposed to represent him being hidden in the shadows. And if you watch probably one of my favorite trailers, I'll pull that up right now because I think this trailer is fantastic. The trailer, here, hold on, let me actually pull it up over here on the side real quick. This really is us yapping it up. I love it. Hold on. If we go to YouTube, FNAF AR trailer. I freaking love this trailer. The FNAF AR trailer is my favorite trailer of all time. And you are about to see why. So purple is representative of something hiding in the shadows, right? So I'm going to skip I'm going to skip Markiplier, and I genuinely apologize because I do love this part. Listen to the very first thing. So you have an entity that is hiding in the closet, and this is the first shot you get of it. Okay? And it says, I've been living in the shadows. Would you look at that? And you know what it's using? You know what it's using? It's using voice line recordings from other people that we've heard in the franchise. It's using Michael's line from FNAF Sister Location, where he talks to his father, and he's like, I've been living in the shadows. The entire trailer is iconic voice lines being reused. It's the Mimic. And it's saying, I'm living in the shadows. It's just like William Afton. I love the, but it justifies why the character could use purple as its own color scheme, and it still makes sense. The animal glitch or bug when talking about because of blood or other fluids. I mean, I imagine it doesn't help, but strangely enough, Remnant actually does kind of counteract that, because it's kind of established that Remnant basically like heals or allows the animatronics to operate better, good, I don't know. I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but I don't know. That was just an interesting point that I'd like to point out, is the fact that like it's this trailer. I know FNAF AR is a dead game, but there's a lot of lore in the FNAF AR game that nobody talks about. Yeah, I mean the animatronics are haunted. Yeah, I mean they are. The entire location is haunted. Like not even just the animatronics, like the entire location as a brand is haunted um by it. Man, and I love it because there's like an actual canonical reason for why that I think is really cool. And that's because it's taking like the memory is basically like being categorized. It's being cataloged, right? Into like a basically like a neural network of memory. And so the reason that it's haunted is because it's like that that part of that network is like stained with the bad memory. And it's such a cool, interesting concept. And like that goes to so many different places whenever it goes to like possession and haunting, and like what the why they act the way that they do. It's because the animatronic, it's not just the spirits possessing the animatronics makes the animatronics conscious. So you have two separate entities. You have the spirit, but you also have the animatronic. And they have different, they have like, that's why you get the animatronics acting in certain ways when like it's interesting because it's like the things that they do, like Chica eating is said to be a self-soothing mechanism, right? It's almost as if like the spirits are reacting to them not being alive, but processing it in ways that is both like you could categorize as being like a character personality flaw for the character, but also something that it's like that's something a kid would do, which is so creepy. It's so freaking creepy to think about it that way. But it's like that explains why you have the puppet as like a protector, because that was its job, right? That's what its purpose was, not just as a spirit, but also um, as like a person, or as like the animatronic. Which, yeah, no, okay. You want to hear something a little bit dark? I mean, this whole thing is dark, but like this messes with me a little bit. The fact that like, do we want to consider the option, like you think about M1's speech in Secret of the Mimic, where like she talks about picking roles to fit people's personalities, to think about the fact that like that could have been what either William or like some subconscious or like some part of like the field was involved in what child got connected to what animatronic. You might consider that to be what the puppet did, which is interesting because it, it's something I'm trying to think about. Is like their roles fitting the personality, um, in an interesting way, and it's like it's kind of messed up. It's really messed up, but it's interesting. But like something I keep thinking about is like in the story, yeah, but in the story Coming Home, that's like focused on Susie. It talks about her like having the ability to like see things differently, and the thing that I'm wondering is like, is that a result of possession, or is that like something that she actually had? Because I know that's like an actual thing where she like saw voices as like colors, and that is like an actual thing, which is really cool. Like it's really interesting, and I can't even imagine what that would be like. But it kind of reminds me of like how in Security Breach you have Roxy, who like is a character who also specifically can see things differently because of her like eyes. Um, that's just, it's really interesting, and it makes me wonder. It's like there's all of these callbacks to like the way that say Security Breach, the animatronics. My bad, getting choked up. My bad. I'm not dying, I promise. I'm just, I don't know. But like, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. It's really interesting. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Oh, I didn't even notice that actually. Do you have Oh, that's cool. Hold on. Wait, actually, I didn't even like click on your profile to actually see, because I didn't realize that's what that was. Oh, that's really cool. I actually really like that. That's really cool. I love that. That's awesome. Um, Also interesting. Okay. Speaking of Vanny's mask, I want to ask your guys' opinion about something. Okay, Security Breach. Breach trailer. I have a question for you guys. I don't know what you guys think about this. In the original, is this the one? Is this the one that has the? No, that's not the one. Not that one. Okay, it's this one. I freaking love this.
When I first found you, you were nothing. You were small, pathetic. But now, you are more. Are you ready?
Who is the voice? Is it William Afton? Because that's not William Afton's voice actor, I don't think. I want to listen to that again, because first of all, the freaking imagery here reminds me of a different moment from the franchise, which I think you all know where I'm going with this. Hold on. Why? Why? Hold on. Let me get this. Organize myself here. Okay. Why are these moments feeling like they're so similar? I can get rid of some of these tabs here. Like, you both have the masks here in like almost the same lighting, right? Why are these moments so similar? That's really interesting, because you have like this part.
When I first found you, you were nothing.
When I first found you, you were nothing. So this is very clearly coming from Glitch Trap, which is fascinating.
You were small, pathetic.
Yeah.
But now, you are more.
Now you are more. You want to know something interesting about that? That is a quote from the Silver Eyes trilogy. That is something that William almost verbatim says to Baby from the Fourth Closet, which I think is really interesting, which does support the idea that this is William, maybe like some sort of like, this is an early voice of William before he got springtrapped. Which, you could kind of hear it that it's like maybe this is like a really bad like just sinister sounding voice. You getting a cold? Yeah, I think I'm okay. I think I'm all right. Hopefully. I think I just got like little bits of something in my throat. I think I'm okay though. But maybe it's all the streaming. I'm making myself sick. No. But it's interesting. So these moments from like the mask perspective, like you have like the masks. And right? And then you have like the closing
You are
up.
small, pathetic. But now
It's going through the eye.
you are more. Are you ready?
And if you look at this one goes to this, are they all? Because I know that, yeah. It's just this moment of like you have it going through the eye. Could just be a sign that this trailer was obviously like really had a lot of Scott Cawthon influence, if not like direct feedback on like the layout. This entire thing is like very much his style. I love this freaking trailer. This actually might be like the best Security Breach trailer for me. Because with this having like so much seemingly input, it's interesting what's said right here about this. When fear takes hold, and reality fails, the stage is set. No pun intended. And insanity prevails. So, when reality... So, hold on. If we're looking at this, right? This is telling us the layout. When fear takes hold, and reality fails, right? The stage is set. Hold on, where'd it go? Insanity prevails. Does it say anything else? When fear takes hold. There is another interesting voice that I think connects to this, and obviously this is dealing with some like cut stuff from the side of like Security Breach and that kind of not coming out the way that it was supposed to. You can already tell that from this trailer because it's like Vanessa, the way she speaks to us is not characteristic of the Vanessa that we see in the games. But there's also a voice that might be confused with like Monty, but I don't think it is, and it's I think right like right here.
Say you will do as I say. You will bring me what I want, and if you fail me, then you will both of you burn.
I'm not even gonna lie, that sounds exactly like Matthew Lillard. Like, listen to the way that sounds. It kind of sounds like Matthew Lillard a little bit. Maybe that's just me thinking like, oh, this is William Afton.
Bring me what I want.
Bring me what I want. Like, it just has that inflection, which I think is great. If this is like supposed to be that kind of like imposing figure that never actually got a chance to like to be developed in the game, it's fine. Yeah, so all of that to say, those moments are very similar. We also see that with, I think, Foxy.exe. There's a lot of interesting parallels to that and this, which now kind of makes sense because you've heard of the mimic. That's my response to everything. It's just like, it makes sense now because Secret of the Mimic, guys. Okay. But that is something that I think is really interesting. Yeah. So let's look at this. What have we learned? Alright. But yeah, so those moments are really interesting, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It makes me wonder what Security Breach was supposed to be. You know, like it just makes me wonder, like, what was Scott excuse me. I'm just going through it today. What was Scott's actual intention with Security Breach? I feel like a lot of people have been talking about that, about like what was Security Breach's true purpose. And I mean, I can tell you that like Security Breach does have a very like rough idea or like plot, as far as I can like summarize. In the fact that like I love the name. Yeah, that's the thing, is like I don't think that's something Monty would say. I don't think that's something Bonnie would say. I think that's something that, like, in context of the beginning of this being like this imposing voice that's talking to Vanessa, it would make sense to me, looking into like further context of Vanessa's character, that that is her father's voice, which would be really messed up, but also the fact that her father's name is very close to William, because it's Bill, which means that like very like very intentionally, Vanessa's father is supposed to be a William like character, as a father figure. um and like that whole story is like extremely tragic, and I wish it was further like explored because it's so good. It's like an actual like really sad part of the story that I think would be really cool if it was explored in other places, which it is kind of in the FNAF movie. That whole relation kind of is why I had been predicting that Vanessa was actually like, oh, she's William's daughter, because like, what if, you know, they had a kid later on, and, you know, besides Elizabeth, you know, like that's kind of the mindset that for a while that I was having, was like, what if what if Vanessa is actually William's biological child? But I don't know if that if that actually works now. But it's also interesting. Bring me what I want, or both of you. And here's the thing that's interesting: or both of you will burn. Burn trap, right? Like that. If we're going by this is glitch trap speaking, I don't think he. Yeah, we don't actually know canonically what secret like Bonnie's voice sounds like, which is interesting. It's yeah. I don't think it would sound like that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it would sound like that. But yeah, it's really interesting. Also, I think that if, I guess what I'm confused on, and I think this is looking into the entity from Ruin, right? So the entity is referred to, and in the game kind of acts like a virus, which ties the entity directly to Mexus as well as Glitch Trap and M1. through 4625 in the Help Wanted 2 DLC. Like, you can quickly connect the dots of, like, okay, this entity is connected to this, which is connected to that. Okay. So, this is what I'm kind of struggling with. So, yeah, that is a question. I think that it's, well, we know what happens to the mother. That's the dark part of it. Is that, like, there's a custody battle, which is interesting because in the FNAF movie, there's also a custody battle going on with Abby. I think that's like probably an unintentional connection, but I think it's one that's still interesting. Um, yeah, this is something that's interesting. So the reason I'm talking about this in this context, Glitchtrap is like pretty much across the board categorized along like being a rabbit like figure, right? But why does it call Vanessa a follower of Afton? Is that just what we're supposed to think? Or is William Afton still involved in some way? Is it that, like... This is what I'm trying to figure out. Is Ib1 taking on the persona of William Afton? Or is William Afton actually still alive? And when I say alive, I mean very dead, but in, like, spirit form. Because it's like... Fazbear Frights even leaves it very ambiguous. It's basically says that it's inert. Like, that William is inert by that time. And it's like, if we're using it as, like, a sort of, like, loose guide for what actually happened, that's really interesting. Because... I don't know. Hold on. But here's... Okay. That's all I've been saying for the last 5 minutes. Is like, okay, but also, what if, you know, just over and over until I, like, my brain catches up with what I'm actually trying to say. What I'm actually trying to say, though, is, right, Scott says that Glitchtrap is possessed AI. Or, like, circuitry. Possessed circuitry. I almost want to, like, pull up exactly what he said. Which I think is so fascinating. So, like, possessed by what? A spirit? Is this, like, confirming that, like, oh, it's William Afton? I don't think it is anymore, but what I tend to lean more to is that it's M1. That this is all M1. M1 is the big bad, the villain behind. And the big reveal is going to be that, like, the whole lead up. Yeah, no. That's true. Glitchtrap controls or manipulates Vanny. That is entirely what's happening. But the thing is... It's interesting. It's interesting. It's so cool. So... What... man. I want to show you guys something. Okay. You know why Glitchtrap is M1? You want to know why Glitchtrap is M1? And I'm about to, like, conclusively prove to you. Like, book closed. You got no arguments left. Like, Glitchtrap is M1. Here is why. In Princess Quest 2... Or I think it's Princess Quest 2 and 3, right? This is so freaking good. I love this part of the story. Okay, because it's so interesting. You get to the ending. So, you know where... Man. It ends in the security office. So, Princess Quest. Part 2. You get to Old Man. You're returning back to the room that you were at.
Why are the attacks coming in?
But like, also shout out to this person. Hold on. Actually, wait. Hold on. Let's see. New commentary. My bad. Let me see. Oh wait, this is 3D. Where's just I just want to like a playthrough of Princess Quest. Where's that? Hold on. But okay, so let's see, Princess Quest. Princess Quest. I think this is all of them. Yeah, it is. Okay. Princess Quest, this is 2, this is going to this room. Notably, you're using your shadow, so you have purple and light. The colors purple, sun and moon. But it ends... this is so freaking good. Okay. So, it ends with Old Man saying, "Congratulations, your quest is done. Time to sleep." It's time to sleep. No, I don't think so. No. I don't think that Gregory is Vanessa is Gregory's mom. So, where are you? Where are you? Where does Princess Quest 2 leave you and Princess Quest 2 start? It leaves you in a security room. With bookshelves lining it, which this is the FNAF 1 office. But you know what else is the FNAF 1 office? In Secret of the Mimic, where a certain thing might be, it ends you off, and like with the context of it being like Old Man telling you time to sleep, and then you ending up in the security office is really interesting, because that would be the place where Mexis would be, which is really interesting. Because I wanted to say, yeah, because this starts off with you in the security office, which yeah, because you start off there, and then it leads to this place, which has the FNAF 1 layout with like the party tables. It's very clearly supposed to be FNAF 1, but it also could be Edwin's R&D version of the pizza place. And I actually think that if you go to, where is it, the stage? Hold on. Because you go to Foxy's, Grim Foxy's maze, but it ends off with you here. Entering the location. Hold on, where does it go? Because there is... First of all, this also looks like Bonnie's area. Which, I think there was something before this, though. that I'm thinking about, which is interesting. So, like, obviously this connects to security breach. As well as ruin, because this is how you get to the place that is very, like, glitch trap coded in ruin, is by going through the Fallacy, or like the Bonnie in that case showcase, because it's very similar looking if you look at it. That leads you to the vent that gets you straight to Vanny's hideout, which I think is maybe what this is meant to represent, right? But notice that the lock is green and the door is purple. That's really interesting. And you are yellow. So you, the princess, is yellow. Glitchtrap is purple. And then there's something that's green that seems to be kind of like all throughout. And if you look at the mask, the plush is greenish, but the mask is split, which I think is interesting. Yeah, so there's a lot of symbolism. I think this is like worth going completely through, but like for the point that I'm making, I wish I could find like a clearer look for this, for what I'm talking about. But it's interesting that you end off in the security office. It's also matches up perfectly with Candy Cadet's story in Help Wanted 2, where it talks about the young boy and the young woman who go to fight the witch, but before they get to the witch, they say that it's time to sleep. Like, the boy tells the young woman to sleep, and then they're caught by the witch. So that's kind of my interpretation. It's interesting. Yeah. That is all there is to yap about that. As far as, you know, you can always yap more, but there gets to a point where it doesn't there's no more points to yap about for that specific. Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. Well, let me think. Because there's a couple of options. We could either continue to play around with this, in like doing some mind mapping. There's always more Hollow Knight, which I have been. Who is the old man anyway? Okay. I was just transitioning. I was just about to move on, and then you just had to end. Okay. Old man. Old man. Well, here's the thing. The achievement for the Princess Quest 2 is really interesting. It is a double-edged sword. And Old Man Consequences gives you the sword, right? The Sword of Light. That you go around and you are able to vanquish the darkness, vanquish Glitchtrap, his code, using the light, right? So, he is someone who gives you a sword of light to vanquish the darkness. Something that also equally works against you. What I'm getting at here is Old Man Consequences is M1. M1 is playing both sides because it doesn't care who it's using. You know, it's one of those things where, and this is something that Return to the Pit also mirrors. So in that story, there's a part in where you branch off and you make like a whole little like let's go. You meet with Mike, or like it's Chip, I think, from the past, and he's like in the present somehow, and he's older now. It's weird time travel stuff, and like he's like, we've made a team to kill the rabbit. You're not alone. There were others who also did time travel stuff, which is true. It's alluding to the fact that like Eleanor had other victims. But like there's a part in there where it's like the rabbit is revealed to be their leader, but they don't know that. So they see their leader as someone else, and they're like, oh, come meet the leader. And it's like, it's actually the rabbit, and he's like leading them into their death. And then he kills them all. So Glitch Trap, I think, is the same way, where Old Man Consequences is M1. In the same way, and it kind of mirrors each other, because in Moon.exe, Sun is referred to as an old woman, right? So it's continuing that whole thing. Yeah, playing both sides. That's trippy. Yeah, so that's my interpretation, right? And the reason for that, if we match it up, Candy Cadet's story. So let me see if I can look this up real quick. Hold on. And I'm struggling to keep coherent tonight, and I apologize for that. Let me see. Candy Cadet. Cadet. Okay. My stream may be a little bit laggy, and I apologize. Okay, we're good. Reconnected. Okay, so now let me tell you a story about a young woman who, when she was little, was led into a dark forest by a witch and almost eaten. Okay, that is in reference to Vanessa, the princess. And let me actually pull this up. So, in Princess Quest 1, you go through, you approach the door, you open it, and you're going to light up the 16th light when everything goes out and you're confronted with Glitch Trap. It mirrors Help Wanted with the 16 tapes. And you are approached by... Hold on. Let me find this part of it. Hold on. Okay. Notice something. You see, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. You see this? It is a tree that is half of its leaves gone and half of them are alive. This tree represents life and death, right? So you are trying to unlock this door. And you're trying to get away from these creatures. Which, hold on. You have to, like, free the souls. And then once you do that, you get to Glitch Trap. And he says, and this has been, like, confirmed, he says, I always come back, let me out. He says, I always come back, let me out. Okay, so, now let me tell you a story about a young woman who, when she was little, was led into a dark forest by a witch and almost eaten. Okay, so she was led into a forest by a witch and almost eaten. This is the witch. She's almost being eaten. She's being consumed, right? That's where that one ends. Then you get to Princess Quest 2. Princess Quest 2 opens with, you are alive. That is good. Take the Sword of Light and go. So she survived the witch. This story is a parallel to Princess Quest. Are Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy the same entity? I think so. I think that possibly. I think that they are potentially two sides of the same coin, potentially different entities. In the same way that like M1 and M2 are like the same thing, you know. In fact, who knows? Maybe that's what they are. If you look at the mural in the like Secret of the Mimic, the the what you call it? It's like the show model for like what Edwin wanted his house or his factory to look at. You can see that it has like the bear and then the rabbit on either side of it, and it's kind of like in the shadows. Well, one of them is yellow, the other one is blue or like purple. This kind of like moon and sun. That's really interesting. So, but yeah, so this right here, she had escaped before being thrown into the oven, but would have a scar for the rest of her life. That is Vanny. So Vanny is the scar that she would carry for the rest of her life, the thing that she was infected with. When she had grown, she sought revenge, and the witch, entered the forest again, willingly, this time with the confidence of age and experience. So Vanessa is fighting against Glitchtrap and is coming to basically get rid of it. She was greeted at the mouth of the forest by a young boy who offered to help guide her through the darkness. She was greeted by who helped guide her through the darkness. You are alive, that is good. Take the sword of light. That is the guidance that she received. You then see what she does with that. And after you get all of this, hold on. You're able to complete this puzzle with your shadow. So this is an interesting aspect. You get a shadow when Glitchtrap attacks you. So you now have you have been split in two. Congratulations, your quest is done. Time to sleep. She welcomed the help and followed the young boy over the river, through the jagged trees, and towards a small house. Come, the boy said, rest here before killing the witch. Told her to rest. The young woman was tired and would kill the witch in the morning. She followed the boy to the house. The oven door closed. Into the house, the oven door closed, the witch would finally have her meal. She followed the boy into the house. The oven door closed, the witch would finally have her meal. The boy was the witch the whole time. Yeah. So, that's the thing, is the witch disguised herself as the boy, led her into the house after she slept. The young boy was tired and killed the witch in the morning. She followed the boy into the house. The oven door closed. The witch would finally have her meal. Yeah. So the boy was the witch the whole time. And that's the thing, is the old man would be the young boy in the story, right? Which leads you to this. You are now trapped. You are now in a security office, right? So that's so the Candy Cadet story is the first two entries in Princess Quest, which interesting is Princess Quest 4. Because Princess Quest 4, which, hold on, let me actually pull this up. What's interesting about Princess Quest 4 is that Princess Quest 4 is like an amalgamation of all of the different entries, seemingly. Hold on. I don't know if there is one. Oh, Francisco's 4. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the dialogue from this. Hold on. Because I'm thinking this likely will have all the lines. Yeah. Okay, hold on. There's a lot of ads. You won, you remain. What is left? That is hidden. Hold on. This guy, yeah, interesting. So it's interesting too because Old Man Consequences was supposed to appear in Into the Pit and has some like unused voice lines. What's interesting about that is that instead of Old Man Consequence, they put Purple Guy into the game, which is interesting. That is good. So in Help 1 it says, you won, you are one, you remain. Which I'm trying to think of the context of it because it's been a little bit since I've revisited it. I'm sorry if it's my computer's glitching and stuff. I don't know what's going on with it. It's weird. Freaking strange. I think it should be okay for a second. Let me see. What is left? That is, it is a fair trade. Hold on. Because I'm looking at this wiki. Where it has like Old Man Consequences voice lines. But it says here, like in Help 1 and 2, his only voice lines are like, you are one, and you remain. What is left, that is hidden. Now go to the next room. It is a fair trade. This is what he says whenever you hand the plush to him in return for, or you give him the mask and you get the plush. You're giving him control over the Vanny mask in exchange for Glitch Trap, which is interesting. Into the Pit, he mentions like you fell down the rabbit hole, didn't you? It's not your fault. You didn't know. The others didn't know either. You are a little different from them, you know. You're not trapped yet. Find solace in knowing such. Look to the sky or fall into the pit. The choice is yours. A spiral, guys. That's what a spiral is. You can go up it or you can go down. It's fun. Basically a demon? I mean, if M1 is interesting because, like, yes, in certain aspects, but like, yeah, it has some of that imagery to it, definitely. In that kind of regard, yeah, definitely. It's definitely interesting though. I'm trying to think. It's one of those things where what I think that M1 is, I think that M1 is a shadow. A shadow that is basically like, I consider Eleanor and M1 to basically be the same character. Like in characterization and in the story and like in the like characters that they play, I think M1 is basically Eleanor. That's my current theory. And the way that Eleanor is portrayed in is very possibly the way that I think M1 is gonna go, which is basically like this entity that is not real, not alive, but desperately wants to be, and will do anything in its power to facilitate its rebirth, basically allowing it to become real, allowing it to become eternal, something that's like eternally remembered. Yeah, okay, what M1 and M2? This is, yeah, okay, so to explain that part of the lore, because it's a lot. It is a lot. And I'm trying to wrap my head around it too. So M1 in Secret of the Mimic. So how to explain this? I have this in the theory board where I talk about this. But I don't know if I have anything specifically written down for like what is M1, M2. I don't think I have that yet. But M1, Mimic 1, Mimic 2. So it was thought originally that the Mimic, was basically a program, was an AI. And I think that in certain respects M2 is. So how it basically works is that M1 was found by Edwin after his wife died, and he found a strange voice that was speaking through a specific frequency. That frequency was 4625, which I talk about on the thing. I talk about that right here. So Edwin basically loses his wife. His wife dies at Fall Fest, and he's like, oh no, my wife died. Now I have to take care of my son. That is not a joke. That is literally how he responds to it. But he's like, oh no, my wife died. Now I have to take care of my own son. So he builds a robot to watch over his son, and basically be a caretaker. And then finds, and it's unsure of what order this falls under, but basically like he goes into the basement because he hears a voice, and he's like, that sounds like my wife. And then he like randomly tunes into this frequency that he knows for some reason, and then he's like, hello, is that you? Please answer. And then she does, and it uses a voice recording of his wife, and then continues to take on the personality of his wife. And so that is what M1 is. M1 is basically like the personification of Fiona, who is Edwin's wife. Fiona, or like M1, then is responsible for taking care of David, who is Edwin and Fiona's son. No, you're good. No, you're good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I appreciate all the questions, actually. Engagement is like, I love the fact that like I can like, it's one of my favorite things about streaming is that I could like engage with you guys and like answer your questions from my perspective. These are my opinions, guys. It may not be the correct opinion, but it is an opinion. But this is like pretty much a summary of like the Secret of the Mimic stuff. So like you have Edwin, Fiona, and David. Edwin is the one who made the Mimic. He put the pieces together, and it was difficult. It was difficult to put the pieces together, but he did it. And Fiona was his wife. Edwin is characterized as being much more of this like kind of all more logical, more distant character who like still desperately wants to help people. But he's very like, he just has this kind of nerdy personality, so he like struggles with how to like connect with people, but he wants to find ways using technology to connect more people together, basically. And so whenever his wife dies, he thinks, oh well, technology, that's the answer to all of my problems. So that's kind of his kind of like, how in like a Greek tragedy the whole thing is like the character or like hero fails due to his like one single flaw. Edwin's flaw is his own hubris. It's his own lack of you know his own lack of allowing himself to simply like accept the loss and take responsibility, but instead he kind of shirks that responsibility, which is a whole theme of itself. Is kind of like he puts that persona of like a very stereotypical parent, like not parent, but like a very like archetypal uh concept of like what a mother should be, and like put that into like an animatronic, and it was like, take care of my son because I can't do this because I have a job to like a business to run. So that's what he does, and David ends up dying through some mysterious circumstances. In the story, it's implied that David was run over by a car. So that's the what happens in the books. However, in Moon.exe, which is basically like an in-universe game that's in Secret of the Mimic, it kind of symbolically tells us that M1 may have directly killed David in order to convince Edwin to build another version of itself. So Edwin, over time, kind of like decides that he wants to commercialize the Mimic program, so he ends up going along with M1 and being like, okay, I need to create a copy of whatever this thing is. And he succeeds in creating M2, but it starts to mimic his son, which seemingly isn't what he wanted it to do. So he gets angry and destroys the Mimic in a fit of rage, and the Mimic learns and adapts to that rage, and basically that's why it chases you and is super violent, is because it's responding to his anger, to his violence. So that's the whole thing. In like M1 is personified in Moon.exe as being this sun like character, as in like the actual sun, and Edwin is associated with the moon. Which is why I mentioned the fact that like it's interesting that Old Man gives you a sword of light, because Fiona is supposed to be like Edwin's light that he lost to the fire. So in that way, it's like kind of like symbolically tied to that. That's kind of the gist of it. There's a lot of other weird things that you kind of come to learn. No, he didn't. No, 100% no. No. Edwin didn't. No, Edwin didn't take care of his son. He even like, and this isn't to say like Edwin is a very flawed character, but Edwin is a very like tragic character in the aspect that like, no, he wasn't there for his son whenever it mattered most, and that would be the thing that he would come to regret for the rest of his life, which wasn't very long, because M2 ended up being the one who kills Edwin. Yeah, no, really, that's it. His reaction, literally, I can play it for you. It is, to me, I understand it now as being like a very, very strong case of detachment, where Edwin just is like, I cannot think about the fact that like my wife just died, who was like the love of my life. So I'm just going to focus on the fact that like I have to, like, I don't know what to do. I have to take care of my son. So like his reaction, I'm not gonna say it's like good or a good way to handle it, but it is like understandable, I guess, looking at from his perspective. But no, it's a really good story. It's a freaking good story. I love him because it's like everything. It's interesting because like there's such a strong theme in Secret of the Mimic about like the idea of roles, of like Edwin is an inventor who like wanted to make a difference, and then like his father died and left him his company. So Edwin was thrust into this role that he didn't want and tried to conform his father's business into a persona that was uniquely his, but because of the nature of like his job and the fact that he was trying to do it so fast, everything he did failed. And so like everything that was his was stolen, was taken away. And in the same way, like, because you come to find out through the story that like Fazbear Entertainment basically poached all of his employees and basically planned all of this stuff in order to run Edwin out of business. In fact, there is an implication, guys, that William Afton may have killed his wife. Because in Help Wanted 2, the last boss battle in Help Wanted 2 for the Fazbear Blast minigames is that the fire that we see started, that likely is the same fire that killed Fiona, ends with a boss battle with Springtrap, which kind of implies that potentially William could have been the one to kill his wife in order to throw Edwin into a depressive state so he couldn't work, so that they could run him out of business, which is basically what happens. And it's so interesting because it also mirrors Edwin's, what he does to himself. Because you have this outward plot against him, and then you have his own hubris where he's like replacing everything that he loved with something artificial, and not realizing that slowly he was losing his sanity, his mind. His mind was being taken from him piece by piece. And it mirrors the Silver Eyes trilogy with Henry, with like the Charlie bots. That's kind of where it goes, where it's like it kind of mirrors the same plight, you know, in some really interesting ways. But I freaking love that story. It's so good. And I really hope that it continues to go down this path of like talking about, you know, the AI kind of like taking on the personas. We get more talk about like the implications of how that, because you saw with the security breach trailer that we watched, and I pointed this out, is like it specifically says that like when the stage is set, like when reality fails, the stage is set and insanity prevails. So it's like when reality fails, insanity prevails, right? So it's like you have this dynamic of what Glitchtrap is trying to do is he's trying to derail and like distort reality in ways that makes them, the people that he's like victimizing, lose their mind, you know. And that's kind of what you get with Fazbear Frights, like the Fazbear Frights stories and Tales of the Beatsplex. With those, that like a common theme through those are like people getting what they want or what they like perceive that they want, and then realizing that it wasn't what they actually needed. Kind of playing with this like perception versus reality, which I think is really interesting. But yes. But what I was gonna say before, there's a couple things that we could do because it's getting kind of late. We could play some more Hollow Knight. We could continue to talk about this, or we could play some Secret of the Mimic. Those are kind of the options, or I might just end it here and then go to bed because I've got church in the morning and I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow, but I will be back on probably Monday. I've been really enjoying Hollow Knight though. I might boot up some Hollow Knight because, guys, the obsession is real. I am becoming slowly more and more ingrained and entrenched into the Hollow Knight world, and I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know. I'm losing myself slowly to this thing, but I love this. It's so good. but I don't know what you guys want to do. I will probably maybe play Hollow Knight for a little bit, but likely like just a little bit. It's probably not going to be for too long. Just because I'm tired, but I also, yeah, probably gonna boot this up and play a little bit for a little bit, guys, because it's becoming an obsession and I must feed the obsession. I will change the title though, so people know. But I'm actually making a little bit of progress in this. I've been playing for 8 hours and 10 minutes. I still have no freaking idea where I am. Actually, hold on. Let me make sure. I've got a lot of this mapped out. But I'm trying to remember how I got, so I think what I need to do, because I was trying to get to a different area. Hold on. Nope. Oh, hold on. This is a bad start. Nope. Come closer. There we go. You guys are so annoying. It's fine. Hold on, guys. Guys. It's fine. I'm not bad at this game, I promise. Okay. So we need to go up. Hold on. Okay. I love the music. It's so good. Alright. Yes, keep going up. So I think I'm trying to remember how I get back to. Alright, calm down here. Yeah. I'm just not gonna worry about you. This is a way to go, yeah. Trying to make it back up to Crossroads. Oh gosh. Nope, trying to remember how to freaking. Okay, I need to continue to keep going. Well, actually, hold on. How do I make it up here, actually? Hold on. Because of what I'm trying to do... I think I need to get back up to Forgotten Crossroads, possibly. But if I'm being honest, I don't know exactly where I'm supposed to go. We'll see. They're kind of adorable, though. I'm not gonna lie. Have I? Why did you drop? Why did you drop me down here? It's rude. I think I've already been. Okay, so yeah, I need to go up. It's fine. It's fine. This game, man. Yeah, we're gonna get up here. If this is the way that I'm thinking of, because yeah, go this way. Oh gosh, get out of here. That was so unnecessary of you. I don't understand why you had to do that. It's so rude. Okay, we're going this way. Nope, hate you guys. You guys suck. I do want to get... Oh wait, I actually did unlock that area. This goes, yeah, going up. Weird little guy. Okay, I'm gonna go up. This game, yeah, the game is very satisfying. It's really nice. I love this game. Okay, hold on. We need to go, yes, well, no. See, that's the mistake I made. I was supposed to go up here. Up. Let's get back to Crossroads. It's fine, because there's a bench over here. Yes, it should be this. Okay. Hold on 1 second, guys. I need to go to the bathroom, and I will be right back. Okay, we are back. That was okay. Alright, yes, I love this freaking game. It's so good. Okay, hold on. We are gonna go up to Forgotten Crossroads because I think there's several directions I have not explored. I think... Ooh. keep going up. Is there a way? No, I've already gone this way. Hold on. Oh, that was... That was a freaking shortcut the whole time. I didn't even realize that. How dare you disrespect my honor like that? Hold on. Okay, you know what? More of that. Okay, you're just, you know what? I'm going to look. I'm not far from the bench. I could go back, honestly, but I'll just fill up my meter. I'll be fine. Okay, yeah. We're trying to get back to the other that city area. Oh wait, hold on. All right, crap. I think I need to go all the way up. Let's just explore this area a little bit. Crossroads. Okay, this is going... Yeah, we can go this way. Oh, hey guys. What you guys up to? What? You don't want to talk to me? Man. That's so rude. I've already been down this way, I think. So I will keep going up. And here we are. Okay, that's not open yet. Don't really need that. Well, I say that. Ew. Okay. I hate this. Alright, I think I... These sections suck. Yeah, the timed attacks, it's, oh crap, how do I, I'm just gonna freaking die. I don't want to do that. Hold on. Let me go back. And get a closer bench. Because I don't want to be stuck down here. I think the... just go up here because I mean it's not. Oh, well, I guess I'm not. That's fine. Because I want to see. Hold on. Actually. Oh, hello. I will rest. Oh, and you came back. Okay.
Oh,
what a turn. Our shopkeep's come home. Just wandered back, and I'd hoped for grand tales of his time below. But he seems to remember almost nothing. Maybe it's all too much for him. If you're interested in his wares, watch out. He drives a hard market, that one. No competition, that's the problem. It's bad for the market, not that he's complaining. I bet he's not. I bet he's not. I bet he's... okay.
Papa Sude.
Oh, hello. I knew we could meet again. Don't you like my cozy little store? I've made it myself pretty comfortable here, selling old trinkets to travelers like you. If you're planning our trip below, I have several items that may improve your chance of survival.
Patmos, Gio.
Okay, wait, hold on. Vessel fragments. I actually need that, because that's gonna give me... yeah, an extra piece of that. What else do you have?
Patmos, Gio.
This whole thing merely a fragment is something larger. Let me get that, actually, because I think that's the missing piece of the other thing that I have. It is. It's a piece. Okay, hold on.
Patmos, Gio.
I found another of these. Okay, hold on. Let me get that as well. Because I think that might be the final piece. Yes! Oh, that is satisfying. Hold on. Hopefully that's not... no, it's not. Okay, good. Alright. Did you want to talk? No. Let me see. Okay. We were gonna go down below. So we got those. Oh, my bad. We need money now. That is dumb. Why did I do that? Okay. I did this before. Let me go up here. I'm not giving it enough time. Crap. Oh wait, am I being stupid? I was being stupid, okay. I feel stupid actually with how, gosh. Okay. Look. Interesting. Interesting. don't like this. This kind of is a little bit, oh, crap. Okay, that's sending me back here. I can't get around it. Gosh darn it. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Avoid, avoid. Oh gosh. Okay. Heal, heal. How do I avoid this freaking thing? Oh gosh. What the heck? Okay. Well, do it again. Darn it, that's like a really long... Okay. I have to go a long way for that one. I can't believe I didn't see that I could just do that. I don't know what I was trying to accomplish. That was dumb. Okay. But it doesn't seem like I can get around that thing. Oh, crap, you have... Okay. 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 How... I have to move. Okay, there's like a spot... Whenever it does... Okay. And then it swings. And it has one big attack. There is no way to freaking avoid that though. Okay, how... Okay, would it be easier... I mean... I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to... Because you can dodge. It's... I think it's a skill issue, honestly. Not gonna lie. Okay, yeah. See, like that? Skill issue. It's... Let me grab my shade. Climb this wall. I think that... Let me go this way, because I think... I may be... maybe I understand what I was supposed to do. Possibly. I think I'm supposed to parry on him. Let me try this. There you are. Big scary. Oh gosh. Like, yeah, because he has a really good attack. Because, okay, can I parry? Oh gosh, I am losing a lot of freaking life. Okay, gosh darn it. I might not be able to defeat this right now, I don't know. Walk of shame. No. It's returned. I thought I'd gotten over this, but there is nothing there. Okay. What I think I'm gonna do... Let me grab my shade. Let me go back. I don't have to necessarily face it right now. It's an interesting one. Oh crap, forgot. Let me come back to that one. At least I know it's there though. That is good. But if I'm to see where I'm supposed to go, I didn't realize I'm supposed to go this way. If it's a different way, have I gone that way? It's not difficult. There we go. You're welcome. And then we can go to the other guy. Go get our reward. It's not that one. Oh, thank you. Anything else? No. That's good. Okay. Now we keep going down. We could, this leads to our elevator. Get to go down to the city. Okay. Because we have some things to sell to the collector, which is very cool. This should lead us, yes, down. Hello. That was, none of that was good. Hold on. Let me, hold on. Where does this go? Oh yeah, that leads just to the entrance. That's good. So what were we doing since I last looked on stream? We were... The only thing that we were doing was basically just yapping. I mean, it was literally, legitimately just yapping. But it was fun. It was fun. We just kind of like talked about FNAF stuff and theorizing and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Hold on. It's me, Michael. Hello, welcome, Michael. I am. Oh, hold on. That was rude. How dare you? I'm not talking to you. Just that night. Not very nice. Very nice. Oh wow. Mike Bloom's brother? Ooh. The lore. I was gonna go back to, where is William? Where is my father? I have that memorized. Let me see, where was the shop? Because there was a... Oh, wait, hold on. Is it over here? You are the father? Oh no. Alright, where am I going? Oh, this is exactly where I wanted to go, actually. Is there anything that
Ranjo Stenja.
I have? If you bring me a piece of pale ore, I can forge it into a nail, make it stronger. What do...
Vendasu.
Okay, piece of pale ore. I'm curious where I get that. Okay, don't do that. It's fine. It's not what I meant to do at all. I wanted to go to, yeah, the shopper over here. Ooh, you parried my attack. Very good. I approve. But slightly you have the disadvantage. Try it. Try it. Hold on. I'm trying, I'm learning. Hold on. Mechanism. Oh, my bad. You know what? That is so true, and I am terrible for that. Here, hold on. Actually, I'm just going to turn off my webcam for now, and so you guys can enjoy the experience fully. Okay, no, wait, hold on. It's up here. Yeah, because there we go.
Velmi Artred.
So I can sell this.
Oh, pal.
La la. There's nothing wrong with appreciating something purely on aesthetic merits.
Velmi Artred. War's son?
Hey, a
Again.
wanderer's journal, eh? Though they're common finds about the kingdom, I much enjoy the deciphering of their text. I don't think you found the Boston Soul Sanctum. I probably didn't. Read together, they paint a morbid tale.
Velmi Artrit.
Interesting.
Velmi Artrit.
I might not offer a lot for each, but they're plenty. What? Okay.
Helma Delker.
I think I know what you're referring to. And that very well may be. Thankfully, we are in that area. Oh, we did not get that one. Yeah. We are trying to head that way. That is rude. There we go. Oh gosh. That was not good. You're close to one. Yes, I know. Yeah, it's up above. It should be up here. That would be fun. I would love to. Alright. Hold on. Go down. Hold on. An ornate door. Slot for a key. Interesting. Breakable wall. Did I miss one? This is really getting me. Oh gosh. I do not need you. Oh crap. Oh, I was trying to freaking... I don't think, yeah, oh crap. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. This is not fun. This is not fun. Oh gosh. Nope, 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 not what I needed. Okay, hold on. Okay. Crap, what the heck is happening right now? Oh god. I hate this. Oh my gosh. Nope, nope, nope. There's too freaking many of you guys. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. This is so freaking annoying. Okay, so my computer is having hardware issues. I don't know why it's doing this, but I think it's likely. I'm not gonna lie. I think it might be something with like either the charger or like. I don't think it's the charger though. I think it's something with like I don't know. But it's messing with like everything else. So until I get that resolved, I'm probably gonna have to go for now. Just because like this requires dedication, and this is like messing me up actually. So it's like but I'm probably gonna be done. Plus it's getting late, and I need to get to bed. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your guys' night or day, depending on time zones. But I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for joining me.